The story of Benny Hill and his long-running television success is one of comedy brilliance, international fame, and eventual controversy. Known for his slapstick humor, fast-paced sketches, and memorable musical themes, his show became a global phenomenon for decades. However, alongside its popularity came increasing criticism as public attitudes toward comedy evolved. What was once seen as harmless entertainment began to be questioned under changing cultural standards. This overview explores Benny Hill's life, his rise in entertainment, the creative style of his program, and the controversies that later surrounded it, ultimately leading to its decline from television screens worldwide. Early life and family background: Alfred Hawthorne Hill, later known as Benny Hill, was born in Southampton, England, in 1924. His upbringing was influenced by a family connected to both practical trades and performance traditions. His father worked in a surgical appliance shop, while his grandfather had experience as a circus clown, hinting at a lineage of entertainment. Hill attended school in Southampton but did not immediately enter show business. Instead, he took on a range of jobs, including working at Woolworths, delivering milk, and operating machinery. These varied early experiences helped him develop observational humor and an understanding of everyday characters that would later shape his comedy career. War service and early performance skills. During the Second World War, Hill joined the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, where he trained as a mechanic and served in several operational roles. He worked as a truck driver and searchlight operator, supporting military efforts during critical campaigns, including time linked to the Normandy operations. His technical duties required discipline and problem-solving, but it was his later transfer to the Combined Services Entertainment Division that proved most influential. There, he performed for troops and gained hands-on experience in live entertainment. This environment allowed him to refine timing, audience engagement, and comedic delivery under varied and challenging conditions. Influences and entry into entertainment. After the war, Hill pursued a career in entertainment, inspired by music hall traditions and comedic performers of earlier generations. He admired entertainers known for physical comedy, exaggerated characters, and direct audience appeal. He also drew inspiration from American comedian Jack Benny, adopting a similar stage name as a tribute. Hill began working in theatre and radio before transitioning into television, where his talent for visual humor became more apparent. His ability to combine mime, slapstick, and expressive facial comedy helped him stand out in early broadcasting, laying the foundation for what would become a highly recognizable performance style. Rise of the Benny Hill Show. Hill's television breakthrough came with the creation of a program that blended sketches, musical interludes, and visual comedy. The show gained popularity for its fast-paced format and accessible humor, allowing it to reach audiences across different countries and languages. It eventually achieved international broadcast success, airing in numerous territories around the world. Hill's performances often included multiple characters, ranging from ordinary individuals to exaggerated authority figures. His ability to shift between roles within a single episode contributed to the program's appeal. Over time, the show became one of the most widely recognized British comedy exports of its era. Writing style, cast, and production techniques. The program relied heavily on visual storytelling, with minimal dialogue in many sketches. Hill worked as a central creative force but also collaborated with other writers and performers, though not all contributions were formally credited. The cast frequently participated in recurring sketches and ensemble scenes, adding variety to the comedic structure. One of the most distinctive production techniques was the use of accelerated chase sequences achieved through undercranking the camera to create exaggerated movement. These sequences became a signature element of the show, combining music, physical comedy, and rapid editing to produce energetic and chaotic final scenes in many episodes. Changing cultural attitudes and emerging criticism. As the program continued into later decades, public attitudes toward humor began to shift. What had once been considered light-hearted and playful was increasingly viewed through a more critical lens. Concerns were raised about the portrayal of women, the use of visual gags involving pursuit, and the balance between satire and objectification. Comedy that relied heavily on physical exaggeration and suggestive humor began to face scrutiny from critics and audiences alike. These changing perspectives created tension between longtime fans who enjoyed the traditional format and newer viewers who expected more modern interpretations of comedy and representation. Controversial sketch and public backlash. A particular sketch aired in the later years of the program drew significant attention and criticism. It involved a parody setting in which women were presented in a way that many viewers interpreted as objectifying. Although the intent was comedic, the reception was divided, with some audiences finding it outdated and offensive by contemporary standards. The reaction to this and similar material contributed to broader debates about the direction of televised comedy. Media discussion intensified, and the show increasingly became a focal point for arguments about censorship, taste, and evolving social expectations in entertainment. Decline, cancellation, and industry response. As criticism grew, the program faced declining support from broadcasters and changing programming priorities. Television networks began shifting toward different styles of comedy that aligned more closely with modern sensibilities. Although the show had maintained strong international popularity for many years, its format gradually fell out of favor in mainstream broadcasting. Eventually, production was discontinued in 1989. The decision reflected both cultural change and industry repositioning rather than a single cause. Nevertheless, the controversies surrounding its later years played a role in shaping how it was remembered in discussions about comedy history, legacy of the show, and Benny Hill. Despite its decline, the program remains a significant part of television history. Its influence can be seen in later sketch comedy and physical humor traditions. The distinctive musical theme, fast-paced editing, and chase sequences remain widely recognized cultural references. Benny Hill himself became a symbol of a particular era of television comedy, admired for his timing and creativity, but also debated for his content choices. His work continues to be studied as an example of how entertainment reflects the values and attitudes of its time, both in popularity and in controversy. Conclusion: the career of Benny Hill and the evolution of his television program illustrate the changing nature of popular comedy over several decades. From humble beginnings and wartime service to international fame, Hill developed a unique style that resonated with audiences worldwide. However, as cultural expectations shifted, elements of his work became increasingly controversial. The eventual end of the program marked not just the conclusion of a long-running show, but also a broader transition in comedic taste and television standards. Today, it stands as both a celebrated and debated chapter in entertainment history.